All right, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2022 Ford Maverick XLT. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Ford Maverick for a couple of reasons. First of all, it is new for 2022 and it's sort of one of those hot cars right now. People love it for many reasons, and I'll get into those as we get on with the rest of the video. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack I have available, or a big friggin' bottle sticker, both with worldwide free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 2.0 liter turbo inline 4. Well, it's an EcoBoost engine, and you can find this in like the higher range Ford Bronco Sports or a bunch of other Ford EcoBoost products like the Focus ST. It makes about 250 horsepower, which is actually a pretty fair amount and definitely all you need in a little pickup truck like this. However, there is another engine option you can get, which is a 2.5 liter inline 4. However, that comes with a hybrid system, which only makes around 191 horsepower, but will get you better gas mileage. Speaking of which, this gets about 24 in the city and 30 on the highway, which is pretty fantastic for a pickup truck. Now, like I said, paired to it is that 8-speed automatic from Ford. It's doing a good job. I like it. It's shifting gears, working as it should. However, some Mavericks do get the CVT, meaning continuously variable transmission. I prefer tried and true automatics like what's in this truck. However, a CVT wouldn't be the end of the world. Last but not least, interestingly, this Ford Maverick is front wheel drive. Now, there are all-wheel drive versions offered as you go up the trim levels, but this being an XLT, not quite the base, but just a little baby step up, this comes with the front wheel drive. With that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of physical gauges and a screen. On the left is my tachometer, on the right is my speedometer, and down at the bottom, I have my coolant temperature and fuel. And then I get this little customizable screen up in the middle. Ford has been doing this for the last couple of years, and I really, really like it. I think it looks great. I think it functions really well, and you can find this on most Ford products. On the steering wheel, on the left, I have my cruise control options as well as volume and mute. And on the right, I have my controls for that center screen we just talked about in the gauges, as well as skip track and my phone options. The overall look and feel of the steering wheel is nice. It's a little basic. However, this is an XLT, so that's to be expected. Off to the left, I do have my cargo light as well as all my other light options for like gauge dimmer switches, headlights, and things of that nature. I also get this vent up above it with this nice orange stripe going across it. It has this fun, funky material we'll be talking a lot about later. Moving on to the door, I have lock and unlock up top, and then I have my power mirrors and power windows down below. Moving into the center, we do have a little cubby up at the top for a nice little storage area, and then we have the infotainment system, so we'll pull over and talk about it. All right, so let's talk a little bit of Maverick infotainment. Now, this is the Sync 3 system from Ford, so pretty much all other modern Fords have this same exact operating system. It has decent responsiveness. It does have Apple CarPlay. I can go over here to vehicles, camera settings, and door keypad, because this does have the Ford keypad on the outside. They've been doing that since the early 2000s. Display general Ford Pass Connect mobile apps. We can enable mobile apps if we'd like. Nothing really too crazy. I wish that I got some fun pages like off-road telemetry, but then again, this is the front-wheel drive version, so I guess it doesn't really need that. I just like dorky, nerdy things. That's pretty much it for the infotainment system. However, we will put it into reverse, and as you can see, this is our backup camera, and as I turn the wheel, the lines on the screen adjust as well, which is fantastic. Not all modern cars do this, but the Ford Maverick does, and I love that it does that. Then I have my controls for that infotainment system, so like volume, skip track, and tune. Of course, if you don't want to use the steering wheel controls, or if the passenger wants to change things, they absolutely can off of those buttons. And this is where you really start to notice this funky new material for the Ford Maverick. And overall, it does look sort of different. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but I'm not complaining. Then I have two more climate control vents, sort of low positioning here for climate control vents, but they do feel like a thick rubber. They're very, very sturdy, which is great to see out of a product like this. This is a relatively inexpensive vehicle, so to see these thick, nice products is definitely heartwarming. Then I have the climate controls, fan speed off to the left, temperature off to the right. However, I don't actually get dual zone climate, something I thought I would out of a new Ford product. However, I don't get it here in the XLT. Then I have a USB-C as well as a traditional USB in. And then we have cubby space down below. I have these nice dividers, and this orange part is a thick rubber, again, like the climate control vents, and it actually has a nice solid weight to it. I don't feel like I'm gonna break it, which is fantastic. Moving on to the center console itself, off to the left, I do have the shifter. This is a turn dial shifter, rotary shifter as a lot of people like to call it, and it works well. You can also put it into low if you'd like. And then I have the power parking brake, and then we have a couple of buttons below it. We do have drive modes, so we have several different drive modes we can select. Normal, towing or hauling, slippery, eco, and of course sport mode. One thing I wish is that the XLT got as cool of gauge transitions as other vehicles. Like, check out this Bronco. You see this sort of dust storm come in and all the elements change when you change drive modes. I wish they did that here in the Maverick. However, the XLT does not get that. Then to the right of that, I have my traction control on and off. Why Ford switched the traction control logo, contrary to every other car that has the sort of tire marks behind the car? I don't know why Ford went and changed it, but they did. And that's just for traction control. Then I have my automatic start stop on and off and my brake hold. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 2022 Ford Maverick XLT, and unfortunately, the very bottom of it does go into the cup holder, but it is not enough to keep the bottle upright when making a turn, so unfortunately, the Ford Maverick fails the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have more storage and a center console. Nothing too interesting there, but the seats are nice and comfortable. These look a lot like the seats you would get in the Ford Bronco Sport, the smaller SUV, of which this actually shares a platform with. And so the seats look very fresh and modern, again, like the rest of this interior, which is fantastic. Speaking of seats, however, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2022 Ford Maverick XLT, and I actually sit back here very comfortably, which is surprising for it being a smaller pickup truck. Gone are the days of the little jump seats like in this S10, where you had to face each other and fold out of the wall, and it was awful. Back seats of pickup trucks have made leaps and bounds over the last 20 to 30 years, and that's very evident here in the Maverick. I am sitting up. Normally, I have plenty of headroom, plenty of knee room. I'm 5'11" and not a small guy, so if that should mean anything. I do have a little center console here, little two fold-out cup holders, and I can slide open the rear glass if I'd like to, which it is one of the first very nice days of the year. I think I might leave it open for the drive home. Absolutely fantastic that you get that feature. Let's hop around back and talk about the bed, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Ford Maverick from 2022. We do get a little backup camera here, of course. Pull it down, and here is the bed. Nothing cool or fancy about the bed, which is honestly a good thing. This is an honest little pickup truck, and I love it. I do get a little bit of storage off to the sides, which is fantastic. And I actually do get an outlet. Look at that. That's a really cool feature, is that you get a 12-volt outlet in the back. Actually, you get two of them, which is great for power tools or lighting or something of that sort. But like I said, very, very basic truck bed, and that's what I'm looking for in an inexpensive little truck, so that's exactly what the Maverick delivers. Now we got to talk about the looks, and of course, the first thing you notice, personally, I think this is the best Maverick color. This is Cyber Orange, which is an almost $500 option, $495. First of all, it's not orange. It's just not. This is yellow. This is school bus yellow, but I love the look of it. It's flamboyant. It's out there. It's in your face. And I think for a new vehicle, I think that's how it should be. This is fun and interesting and in-your-face sort of vehicle. This vehicle, I think, is going to change a lot of things, and so the color definitely reflects that. The overall styling I do like, definitely has sort of throwback vibes, very square and angular. However, it is still fresh and modern, and I like it a lot. If you can't tell already, let's get to my final thoughts. I love this thing. I really, really enjoy this little Ford Maverick. I think it does a lot of things really, really well. I think the interior feels very fresh and very modern, which is fantastic out of a car. Which, when I'm buying a new car, I want it to feel fresh, I want it to feel modern. It doesn't feel dated right off the lot, and that is huge to me. If I'm gonna be making a monthly payment, I wanna be making a monthly payment on something that's cool and hip. Same goes for the exterior. I think it looks interesting and different, and I like it a lot. But let's get on to the real reason why I love this truck so much. Here's the honest truth. Most people don't need a full-size pickup truck in their day-to-day life. Trucks have gotten so huge. I've done the new F-150s and I love them. I really, really do, but driving those feels like you're piloting an apartment complex. I don't have a use for an F-150. I'm not saying people don't. If you live on a farm or you're hauling a lot, you're towing things, you're using the bed every single waking moment of your life, get an F-150. They're really great trucks. But for people who live in suburbia, like me, I live in a suburb, and I would like to use a truck bed every once in a while. My mom gets mulch once a year. I'd like to be able to bring her bags of mulch and not worry about ruining my car. A truck bed would be nice for that. I also have a Mazda RX-7, meaning I have to buy parts all the time. Dirty, grummy parts from Chicago. I would like to be able to throw those in the bed of a truck and just hose out the grease, or at least attempt to hose out the grease, and not worry about my upholstery in my car. That's where the Ford Maverick shines. You know, I used to work on a farm. Back in my early days in college, before I did YouTube, I worked on a farm. And I drove around this little farm truck around the grounds, and I would tend to the grass, and I would spray pesticides on weeds and all that stuff. And I loved that little Ford Ranger. I've never been able to review one, but I absolutely love the first generation of the Ford Ranger. It was just this little rusty but trusty little guy, and it got the job done. And that's how I feel about this truck. Yes, they do still make the Ford Ranger, but in all honesty, the Ford Ranger has gotten so big, it's the size of full-size pickup trucks of the 90s. Now, the Maverick is slotted in just below the Ranger, and no, it's not as capable in some areas, but I think this can do 90% of what a Ford Ranger might need to do while still being small, still being fresh, still being modern, and still being fun. I was so excited to do this review and still am. This is such a good little truck. And when you're not using it for pickup truck things, it's getting good gas mileage. You can get the hybrid version that boasts miles per gallon up into the 30s and 40s. I mean, what is not to love about this little Maverick? I really do think that this is one of the best new cars to come out of 2022. And I think the world definitely shares my opinions. But if you'd like to share your personal opinions, please leave it in the comment section down below. Huge thank you to Chris for letting me take out his Ford Maverick. Chris is absolutely awesome. I've reviewed his cars over the last 5 or 6 years. And so he is very, very generous, very great for letting me review the Ford Maverick. I'm so glad I was finally able to get this truck under my belt. I could finally say, yes, I've driven a Maverick, and yes, I love it very much. That is all thank you to Chris. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.